Deputy President, will I rise to take note of the response given by Minister Wong to Senator Cash. Last night, all decent Australians were horrified when they learnt of the disturbing attacks that occurred just around the corner from where I live, in Woollahra, on people's cars, on houses, on the Chiswick restaurant, in a street where Walper Hospital is, where the Emmanuel Synagogue is. We saw anti-Semitic attacks occur in Woollahra. And it is horrifying to me, but it is a blight on this government and the total lack of leadership that this Prime Minister has shown when it has come to the rising tide of anti-Semitism that we are seeing across this country. And if any of them, and I know Senator O'Neill on the Labor side, and there's a couple of others who would share her distaste for what is happening to our Jewish community, but unfortunately those sensible voices are drowned out in the Labor caucus room as they pander politically to a small cohort of voters in southwest Sydney to condone what is not an attack. It was an act of terrorism that occurred last night. Now, on Sunday morning, just this weekend past, I spent Sunday morning with the JCA with 500 Jewish women. There was only 3 of us Shitzkas there, 3 non-Jews there for brunch. 500 Jewish women turned up to the JCA brunch. They had to find a bigger venue because this community, our Australian Jewish community, are coming together to support each other as they are living increasingly in fear. And this brunch was in Wentworth. This attack is in Wentworth. We know that there is a large Jewish population in Wentworth. And this community is living in fear. And what is coming from this government? Nothing but absolutely immoral flips and twists and turns and moves away from the strong relationship we have always had with our partner in Israel, the only country in the Middle East who shares our values, who shares our democracy. Yet this Labor government is so bereft of a moral compass they find every opportunity to move away from Israel. And it is an absolute shame and disgrace. You are hanging out to dry Jewish Australians every single day from your lack of moral clarity, led from the Prime Minister down. And now we learn that the Foreign Minister decided against the advice of DFAT. I mean, to out-left DFAT, well, there's an effort. Out-lefting DFAT. The Foreign Minister has made a captain's call to reverse our position at the UN. What a disgrace. And answer me this. How can anyone in that government, I mean, forget this rabble up here, anyone in the government accept that there will be any sort of two-state solution while we have 100 hostages still being held? Over 400 days. Where is your humanity? Baby Kafir, who has never experienced a birthday out of captivity, held most likely, if he is still alive, we do not know, his whole family taken from their kibbutz by terrorists who filmed their murderous acts. This war was started by Hamas. This war has been funded by Iran. Yet those opposite are now siding with those who condone terrorism. We see in the attacks last night the letters PKK. No one really knows what they mean. They think it's got to do with this Kurdish separatist movement from Turkey. And I think, maybe that's a bit of a moment considering these attacks happened on Ocean Street just outside the Turkish embassy. I mean, maybe that's not too long a bow to draw. But the lack of leadership from this government has contributed to the rising tide of anti-Semitism that is flooding through this country, and you should all hang your heads in shame. I hope none of you are turning up to a Hanukkah celebration because you have turned your backs on the Jewish community and they know it, and you should be absolutely ashamed.